This video covers 7 major uses for commas. First, joining two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction. An example would be, Titus demonstrated fealty, and Cecilia laughed cruelly. Comma and work together to join together these two complete sentences. Some non-examples would be, Susie and Sally, two subjects joined together, not clauses. Billy threw the ball and ran the bases. We have threw and ran joined together rather than clauses. Or I am fed up with the excuses and lies. So excuses and lies, two objects of the preposition that are joined together. In each one of these non-examples, no comma is necessary because we are not joining together clauses. The second major use for a comma is between an introductory phrase and an independent clause. This could be a prepositional phrase like in the morning, comma, I ate breakfast. This could be an adverb like surprisingly, comma, he passed the test. This could be a statement of address. If you're speaking to someone named John, comma, will you take out the garbage? And yes or no work here, as well as names. It could be a modifying phrase that starts with a verb like sharpening his pencil, because this is still not a clause. It might have a verb, but it's missing a subject. In all of these cases, you put a comma after the phrase. The non-example would be putting a comma after a clause, like Susie fell, comma, Bob drafted the document. Here, using a comma without a conjunction is called a comma splice. Don't do that. The third major use for a comma is between a dependent clause and an independent clause. For example, when he arrived, comma, he fed the fish. If the order was reversed, he fed the fish when he arrived, no comma is necessary. Notice that when the dependent clause comes first, you put a comma. When the independent clause comes first, you don't. The fourth major use for a comma is to separate items in a list. You do put the comma before the and the final item. That's called the Oxford comma. An example would be, I bought milk, eggs, and cereal, 3 nouns. But it could also be, this week I fell, and then we have a series of prepositional phrases. Down the stairs, comma, off the treadmill, comma, and into the glass door. Rough week. A non-example would be a situation where you don't put the comma before and. If you leave that one out, that could mean that you're describing the Pope as a rabid soccer fan and an expert on opium, which is probably not what this sentence really intends. This sentence probably intends that we met 3 different people, the Pope, a rabid soccer fan, and thirdly, an expert on opium. So that Oxford comma clarifies. Without the last comma, the meaning changes. The fifth major example is commas surrounding non-essential information. For example, Minecraft, my brother's obsession, bores me to death. If I took out my brother's obsession, that doesn't really change the meaning of the sentence, especially the part Minecraft bores me to death. It gives me extra information, but it doesn't change or narrow down the subject at all. We consider a phrase or a clause like that to be non-essential. However, consider a sentence like, Sarah's friend Tara still listens to One Direction. Tara narrows down which of Sarah's friends I'm talking about. It changes the subject to be more specific. That is considered an essential phrase or clause, and it can just be a single word here, like Tara. We don't put commas for essential information. The sixth major use for a comma is between coordinate adjectives. So there's 2 tests here. First, we can add the word and between 2 adjectives in front of a noun. The second test, we can change the order of the adjectives. If the adjectives pass the test, then they're considered coordinate, and we can put commas between them. The tests are not foolproof, but for the vast majority of sentences you will encounter, these 2 tests will. Let's look at an example. If I said, the calm and peaceful ocean waves soothed me, that works. If I said, the peaceful, calm ocean waves soothed me, that also works. That's because calm and peaceful are separately describing ocean. They are coordinate adjectives, and I can put a comma between them. The other type of adjective is a cumulative adjective. Here, if I try to say her bright and orange bathing suit or her orange bright bathing suit, it doesn't quite work. It changes the meaning. And that's because an adjective like bright is not just modifying bathing suit, but it's also modifying the other adjective, orange. So it might be considered to modify the entire noun phrase, orange bathing suit. These adjectives work together to describe the noun. They're called cumulative adjectives. The seventh and final major use for a comma is after a signal phrase and before a quotation. For example, she asked, comma, can I have another raisin bun? So let's go through the practice test. Not every sentence will require a comma. Number 1, your handwriting is sloppy, comma, but your punctuation is perfect. We have subject, verb, they're both independent clauses. We have a coordinating conjunction, everything checks out. Number 2, you can spend the money now or put it in the bank. No comma is necessary here because everything after or is not a clause. It's missing a subject. So this is a compound predicate, spend or put. Both are connected with the helping verb can. And no comma is necessary. Number 3, the story was very interesting and she read it on one evening. Maybe that's supposed to be in one evening. Either way, we have two independent clauses joined with a comma and a conjunction. Number 4, Alice wanted to stay home that evening, comma, yet she did not feel that she could refuse the invitation. So here we have she did feel, that's the verb there, and Alice wanted. We even have a relative clause here, that she could refuse the invitation. Both of these are at least independent clauses though, so the comma yet correctly joins them together. Number 5, he would not let them fight nor give up. The word nor here joins together fight and give. Everything after nor is not a complete sentence, so no comma is necessary. Number 6, unfortunately, comma, I will have to stay up all night. This adverb is modifying the entire clause. Number 7, wading into the cool lake, comma, we found relief from the heat. So this prepositional phrase describes we. Number 8, Jim, comma, are you sure that the building is safe? While I worked at the restaurant, comma, I learned about food. This is a dependent clause, comma, independent clause. 10, although she loved her job, comma, it did not pay very much. Dependent clause followed by an independent clause. 11 is just a simple sentence, no commas are necessary. 12, we have items in a series. He ran up the stairs, through the door, and down the hall. The boys stopped, comma, looked, comma, and then darted for cover. I ate breakfast, comma, read the paper, comma, and went to work. In 15, bright orange bathing suit is again using cumulative adjectives. In 16, though, healthy and active are coordinate adjectives. We could change the order, we could put an and between them, so the comma goes after healthy. In 17, luscious is modifying brown as well as hair, and the two adjectives are working together to describe hair. Also, it fails the tests of putting the word and between them or changing the order. These are cumulative adjectives, no commas. In 18, we put a comma between warm and dense. These words are separately describing fog, and the tests work. They are coordinate adjectives. Number 19, Amelia Ortiz, comma, who lives across the street from me, comma, won a scholarship to Stanford University. This is extra information that does not change who the subject is. Number 20, the sophomores who made the honor roll were listed in the school newspaper. This is considered essential information because it narrows down out of all the sophomores in the world which ones we're talking about. No commas. 21. Library books that are lost or damaged must be replaced. This changes the subject. Instead of saying that all library books must be replaced, I'm narrowing it down to only those that are lost or damaged. This is considered essential and does not require commas. 22. My favorite book, which explores the exploitation of workers, is a bestseller. This is extra information. It does not change the subject or narrow it down, so we would surround it with commas.